and this is episode 72 of This Week in Grip, and I'm joined with Alan Heineck. Alan, how's it going, dude?
It's going really good, actually. It's getting to be my favorite time of the year. Weather's starting to get cool, and actually the pumpkin-flavored coffees are starting to land on the shelves. If you've never tried one of those, you're missing out. They're my favorite of all time. Otherwise, I can't stand this time of year. It's the only reason I like it.
I'm going to pretend that you didn't just say that about pumpkin spice coffee.
You don't like it, huh? That's too bad.
Moving on. Let's just talk about the weather, Alan. The weather's really nice here. It was like 66 yesterday. The sun was out, and it was nice today. It was a little under 70 degrees today. The sun was out, and I can't ever complain about that. So it was nice weather for grip training yesterday. It was just a little bit warm in the gym, so we opened up one of the doors, and it was able to cool things right down. So we were able to get lots of good quality work in. So it was really nice. How's your training been going?
Good, really good, actually. Yeah. I was riding some of your waves. I've actually that elusive 105. That's turned into my working block all of a sudden. I've been actually hitting that for consistent pulls and holds. So. Yeah, that was kind of one that was teasing me for quite a while there. So, which was maddening because I can lift the 110 that I've got, but not that 105. That was stubborn. So hopefully I can build off of that and work up to this 115 I got from Delmer Carter, actually.
And what do you credit that difficulty, that block weight to, Alan? Is it a really slick paint job on it that won't take any chalk, or is it like the dimensions, or what?
It's just it's a little wider, so it's starting to get out of my range a little bit, width-wise for my hand, and then it is just a little bit slicker. It doesn't have. At once upon a time, it had a hammer tone paint on it, but it's a weathered one. It just a little slicker, a little wider was the biggest problem.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's funny how that works out because I have a 120 that's really beat to hell that I got for free from a gym. It broke, and they had it out in back of the gym for I don't know how long. This was years ago. This was probably back in like 06, maybe even longer ago, maybe 04. But it's a 120, and it was like real easy to lift. But then like some of the more modern 120s from like the last 10 years are way harder that I've tried. So. It really depends on the actual dimensions in the paint and all that stuff. Those are all factors to consider.
Well, I bought a half York Next Gen off eBay. I didn't realize, but somewhere along the line, somebody stripped the paint off the thing, and it wound up getting rusted. And that thing, it's so easy to lift. I don't even consider it a legit blob lift. You know, it's like it's way too easy. You know, like you could lift that and not lift like a half 90. You know, it's that much of a difference. So I actually hate even looking at it. It pisses me off somebody did that. So
well, I've come into a couple of blobs recently, and did you see the video that I put up of the double handle blob backwards lift?
Oh yeah, yep.
Okay, so like the new one that I got, dude, it's like the whole entire blob, or the whole entire, like both heads of it were super, super hard. The paint job just wouldn't take any chalk. It was really crazy how hard it was. And then I just got another one that I happened upon this past week, and it's a fat man. All of these that I'm talking about are fat mans. But like this one is like it's got like tackiness to it. It was like easy to lift, like brutal, like just super easy to lift. So
yeah, doesn't that spoil it for you?
Yeah, it's weird. Like, but it totally shows you that. And I washed the hard one off. Like I washed it with soap and water. Like there was no, maybe it got hit by. Could have gotten hit by some liquid or oil that was real slippery, and it kind of like stuck on there and you couldn't really tell. So I'm like, well, I'll wash this down real good with soap and water, and it did nothing. Just the chalk wouldn't stick to it. So it can be a big frustration. That's the same as the 1-inch dumbbell that I have that I got from the mailman in New Jersey back in '06. The handle won't take any chalk. It just will not take chalk. So it makes it much, much harder than the
that's nuts.
that I have. Yeah.
Huh.
It's
Yeah,
it's like glass, dude. It feels like it's covered in duct tape or something. It's literally
it's the painted surface on it yet?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. Yep. All right. Well, hey, it had a good paint job then.
Right.
So, oh, cool.
Yeah. So yesterday was a good workout. Luke just put out a couple videos. Ode Haugen had put out a clip where he did a double inch lift off of like a 3 or 4 inch box, and that got shared around a little bit. And then Luke tried the inch in one hand and a couple other challenge bells in the other hand, standing on we just had a rubber 25-pound bumper plate that we were standing on because I don't have all my boxes and stuff down in the new gym. So we did some stuff with that. That was pretty cool. A little bit tougher to pull it from a deficit like that.
Yeah, I've never tried doing things like that. I use a short loading pin for some of my training, but I've never tried pulling, bells or anything, or even block weights from a deficit. So that's I might give that a shot. That might be a neat plateau buster, actually.
Yeah, you know what's funny is I remember back in 2013, it was the night that Mike Sharkey came to my house to get certified on the red nail, and the guy that judged him was JT Strassner. And that night I stood on an 8-inch box and did a blob snatch, and it actually felt easier snatching it from the deficit than it did from the floor.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, you could get it's like you get more power as you unwind from that deficit. Like you generate more power, more momentum, and it ended up coming up easier that way.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that would be the next progression for you then in the land of inch cleaning, I suppose. A clean from a deficit, huh?
Yeah, I got to go from the deficit. I'll tell you what, man. It really. That whole, I have to wonder if I've been able to do that for, maybe a few months, because I wasn't necessarily pulling the inch that much higher this past week than I have been in the last few months that I've been working on that. It's just I decided to dip down one time, so I was able to get under it to catch it. And what I never anticipated the fact that by dipping down it would help the inch turn over as well. I've been trying to crank it through the air with my wrist strength, and I didn't even need to do that. So, pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah. No, I watched that video. That was awesome. And your speech beforehand, I actually put that. That's on my playlist on my phone now. So when I'm listening to music, that comes on once in a while.
That's cool.
It's perfect. Yeah. That and this other little gem, and this is a public service announcement for other people out there. That video where you pulled those the 225 plate pinch,
Yeah.
and you did that. It's coming up, mother. You drop that line.
Yeah.
That helps. That adds strength to your hand. I found out because I started using that when I was going for the 105, and it seemed to make a difference. So people should try that. Employing the F-bomb. Yeah.
Well, we talked about that in a show over the summer. How swearing can make you stronger or whatever. So
I'm not making that up either. I've literally been saying that. I don't know. It's awesome.
Well,
worth a shot anyway.
Yeah, I try to. I'll try anything that helps me, improve, and within reason, obviously. But sometimes I don't want to look like a fool swearing my ass off on a YouTube video. So I've kind of restricted myself from doing that. But I'm kind of wondering if I should, kind of ease off on the brakes with that, because sometimes it does help you get more pumped up.
Yours aren't over the top though. There's a couple guys out there. They're a little nuts with some of their behavior in that regard.
Right.
But when you got some legit PR territory like that, I mean, because not many people are pulling that kind of stuff, you get some leeway for what gets to come out of your mouth in moments like that.
Yeah, that's cool. That's good to know, Alan. That makes me feel a little bit better. But dude, honestly, I haven't even been training the inch clean that hard. I might take 4 or 5 attempts like once a week, and some weeks I don't take any attempts. Like I think maybe a month ago I put up a video of like doing a 110 dumbbell with a Fat Grips Extreme on it. And I mean I would consider that training for it, and that's really the only thing I did all summer for it. And I think maybe earlier in the spring I went outside and took the 140 outside. I think it was like springtime because there was still dirt on the 140 when Jujimufu came. So it had been that long that it was just sitting there with dirt on it from taking it out in the grass and trying to clean it and stuff. So
sure.
I think just besides that, I was just, testing myself, trying to pull it as high as I could, maybe one workout every 2 weeks. And I think just the
probably
King
a good
Kong
way.
prep. What's that?
That's probably a good way of doing that, because that's such a top level effort. You get to doing it more often, you could probably really tax yourself. That might be the key to some of that is hitting the things a little less often almost when it's at the upper range.
Yeah, especially that thing, because I don't know if we've talked about this before, but like when that inch bell hits you in the chest, I like to call it.
About that.
Yeah, I like to say it feels like a heart punch. So back in the 80s, a lot of wrestlers, not a lot, but some wrestlers used to use a heart punch where they just punch the guy in the chest and they'd fall down and pin him. So, like, I don't know if that's real. Like, maybe if you got punched in the chest like that, it would, like, knock your chest or knock your heart out of a rhythm or something. I don't know. But, like, it feels, it's really jarring when the inch dumbbell, like, turns over and hits you in the chest. It really hurts. Like, I have to make sure if I'm using the Sorinex bell that the Sorinex print is on the bell that's on the globe that's closest to me, because I don't want that flipping over and then hitting me in the chest, that print, because I'm afraid it'll like dig my skin open. Because it's
sure.
so hard, you know what I mean? And it's kind of sharp print on there. So.
Right. No, I know exactly what you're talking about. There's probably some merit to that, because I remember this was years back when Tito Ortiz was still fighting in the UFC, and he had a match against Rashad Evans. He got kind of taken down, put up against a fence, and Evans came in with this vicious knee to the chest that just sucked the life out of Tito Ortiz. And he commented afterwards that he thought his heart got bruised. From taking this looked like the type of knee that could like end somebody's, shut you down for good, just a brutal. And so that could be a real thing, I would think.
Yeah, dude. Oh. Well, speaking of UFC, did you happen to watch the Connor McGregor fight last night?
I did. Yeah. What were your impressions?
Well, okay. So I don't know anything about mixed martial arts except for I think I have a pretty good grasp on how people should train their grip for it. Okay. So I don't even know how to pronounce the other dude's name. It's Khabib something. So
I thought it was like Khabib Nurmagomedov or something like that. Maybe John Stepien will jump in and get it right.
Never heard of the guy until this morning when I watched the fight free on YouTube.
He's got an impressive record.
Okay, good, awesome. I thought the fight was pretty exciting. I mean, he, being the limited knowledge freaking MMA guy that I am, I thought it was pretty exciting because I know who Connor is. And I followed him a little bit, so to see him kind of get, like, mauled a little bit in the first round, you have to wonder what's going on, so it kind of draws you in, so I thought that was interesting. And then I was surprised. I've never seen that hold that he choked him out with. John Stepien called it a jaw clench or something like that.
Jaw crank, yeah.
Jaw crank. I'll tell you what, dude, Mike Bruce put something similar to that on my face at the Arnold a couple of years ago, and it hurt, and he was nowhere near putting in full pressure, and I was like, holy crap, that hurt. So, but the aftermath of that fight, dude, was just despicable, in my opinion.
I agree completely. Yeah, I was wondering where you were going to head with that. Everything about that was just bullshit.
Disgusting.
The jumping out of the ring, going after people, and then coming in and sucker punching McGregor.
Dude,
there's definitely a lot of history there.
And I don't have any idea what the backstory is there, but my gosh, dude, just when somebody jumps, all those fans that are drunk or, pumped up and, their adrenaline going and stuff like that, that could have been absolute mayhem if a couple of the right people would have gotten, messed up. You know what I mean? If the right psycho gets punched in the face, man, they start like dropping haymakers on people and going left and right, and then thousands of people are fighting. Holy crap, dude! That is like jeepers. How far is this going to go? And then what the heck was the teammate jumping in there punching McGregor for? What the heck was going on before this match that there was so much like magnetism before the match?
There was some bad blood from it was, I don't know how far back exactly it goes, 6 months or a year or more, where Connor McGregor and some of his teammates wound up attacking a bus that this guy was on, and a couple other UFC fighters.
So I remember when Connor jumped on a bus or threw something at a bus or something like that. So that was this guy and his team?
Yeah, I believe he was part of that. Part of that somehow, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's what that was directed at.
I gotcha.
But
wow.
To me, though, that was I can understand some frustration after that, but you know what? You just stepped in there and you kicked the guy's ass. It's over then. Right. You don't really need to go any farther than that. Your dude just lit up the other guy to take it to that other level. I thought the way Connor handled himself in the ring after the loss and not showing any retaliation. I'm not really a huge McGregor fan because he runs his mouth a lot. And I don't want to offend anybody here, but when you're like that and you get your clock cleaned, I think you kind of got it coming. There's just a little bit of karma there.
Right.
But the way he handled himself in the end, though, I mean, he could have gone any number of ways, and he basically took it on the chin more or less and shrugged it off, which I thought that was a huge thing. He got a lot of respect from me out of that deal. So.
Right. Well, just for the record, I didn't realize that thing that he did months ago was possibly against the same dude, and that was just equally as unacceptable as anything else. So I remember talking to one of my lifters the day after that came out, and he was like, well, he was on a plane for 8 hours, and he got all pissed off or something like that. And I'm like, dude, there's no excuse for trying to, physically assault somebody. So it's both ends. Both ends in those cases were wrong, in my opinion. So,
well, yeah,
I'm glad something worse didn't happen at the UFC fight last night. Could have been bad.
Right. The other thing too is that it's kind of thuggish behavior too. Because here's the deal: you could fight this guy on the street and get arrested for it, or you could get paid a couple $1 million to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Which one's the smarter choice here?
Yeah.
And you're not going to get in trouble the other way. So.
Right.
Just logically speaking, I would think you'd go the one route, not the other. That was just stupid crap. So we'll see what the long-term ramifications of this are.
Yeah, I also watched the post-fight interview with Dana White where he was, visibly, I thought it looked like he was shaken by what happened and absolutely.
He doesn't screw around.
Happy. Yeah.
He's going to react.
He even said something like, it's possible that Khabib wouldn't have his visa renewed to come back into the country. So, I mean, that's speculation, but
I would.
It wasn't like he talked to INS or whatever it is these days before doing that interview, but you can tell he was not taking it lightly that this kind of thing occurred.
In the end, I think if things don't happen to Dana's to his liking, I think he's going to go over the top, and he's going to make this. He's going to set a pretty high bar for what he expects of his fighters in the future. I don't think we'll see some of these guys coming back again. I mean, McGregor, I'm sure he'll be welcome back, but some of these other guys aren't going to be around.
Right.
I really see that belt getting stripped, and I can't imagine Dana would let him fight in the UFC again. But I guess we'll see. That's just my speculation anyway.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out. I don't know enough about it and track records and past precedents to make a call on that, but. Pretty shocking stuff, no doubt about it. Why didn't you watch it last night, Alan? Do you usually get the fights, or did you have other stuff going on?
I used to always rent the UFCs. Back when they were $40 for a pay-per-view, I don't even know what they cost anymore. Mm-hmm. And back when the matches were more done in a tournament format where they had multiple fights, one fighter fight multiple times in a night.
Yeah.
But now it comes on. It's like 3 or 4 hours.
That's going back to like early 2000s, isn't it?
A long ways, yeah.
Yeah.
But now these matches, they don't even happen until like midnight. And
yeah.
I'm not going to. I wouldn't even if I bought it, I'd probably fall asleep like midway through the fight, you know?
Yeah.
The last time I did one of these is when my daughter was born, and I barely made it. So it's like, screw that.
Right.
You know? There's no reason they can't do this at normal times.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. For me, I pretty much only ever watch Lesnar fights and possibly McGregor fights, but I don't just order them at my house. If I'm going to do it, it's going to be split up with a bunch of dudes, man, because I don't know.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm way too cheap.
Yeah, we used to do that. We'd pool in and we'd go to some dude's house who had like those big projector screens, you know.
Yeah. And
get like a bunch of $5 Little Caesars pizzas and stuff, and watch it that way. Yeah, you can save a boatload
on a budget.
Like
yeah. I was I actually forgot that it was going on. I found out. I didn't realize that Venom was coming out this weekend, and one of the guys I was at a business meeting at the end of last week, and one of the guys was saying that they were going to go out and watch it. So I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. So we ended up going to watch it Saturday night, and it was freaking amazing, dude. Are you
really
into Marvel Comics movies at all?
Well, I do. Yeah, I am. And well, go ahead, and then I'll tell you what I had heard. So
okay, so I don't want to ruin it. I hate to ruin it for anybody, but all right. So basically, the storyline. So I read comic books as a kid and still have like every one that I've ever owned, and they definitely took a big leap away from the actual storyline of the comic book. But what they did, yeah. I'm sorry?
I heard that they had done something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So, but what they did is they basically created a whole new path for the character that will enable, I'm sure, multiple movies to be made. Multiple. It could easily be like another whole line of movies, just like a Captain America, Avengers, Iron Man, just like what they've done with those. And
sure,
I see huge potential with it. Venom was one of my favorite characters. I always thought he was awesome. I liked it so much. Now here, check this out, Alan. You don't get much bigger coincidences than this. I liked Venom so much that I insisted that we put Venom on the cover of the what I believe is the very first product that we ever released from Diesel Crew called, do you know what the name of that is, Alan? Do you remember? Have we ever talked about that?
No, we haven't.
Okay, so do you know that I've been doing stuff online since before YouTube was around?
I was aware of, I think I made that assumption, more or less, yeah.
Okay, so we used to upload the videos to our website, and then people would download them, and we had to constantly upgrade our website because they kept crashing our website downloading so many of the videos. Like we kept exceeding our bandwidth, and it would shut our website down. So
that's weird.
What?
No, that's awesome.
Yeah,
getting that kind of traffic.
Yeah, so we used to put out all these videos, and this is most people didn't have that capacity because this is when you had to have a video camera and you couldn't just film stuff with your phone and upload it to YouTube or Instagram. Like there was a bunch of other steps involved. So I invested in a computer that allowed me to do all that stuff, and this was back in 2003, I think, when we first started uploading videos. So we saved a bunch of stuff from like random workouts for a DVD, and because everything else we put out, we wanted to hold some stuff that people could buy and watch. So we came out with a video called The Shit You've Never Seen. So at one point in the video, check this out. At one point in the movie, the Venom like monster is talking to the human, Eddie Brock, that he's living within, and he talks about this other enemy, in the movie, and he says, "He's got shit you've never seen."
That's awesome.
That was the title of the video that we put out with Venom on the cover. It's just crazy. Crazy coincidence.
That is, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So that's my assessment of the movie without going into too much detail and ruin it for somebody. So what did you hear, Alan, keeping in mind that some people might not have watched the movie yet?
Well, I actually, I think I stumbled across some reviews, and they weren't very positive. Some people didn't like the fact that they had kind of strayed away from the original storyline.
Right.
There was also some question about some of the CGI. Apparently, they didn't necessarily think was on point. But then there was just the way they how the storyline started and then sort of almost jumped time to a different point or something like that. There was just a bunch of weird things it sounded like that took place in it. And it was almost the consensus, like, don't watch it.
Oh, really?
Wow. That was how some of the reviews were coming across. So, me, I knew who Venom was. I never really followed the character. So maybe that wouldn't be an issue for me. But, it sounds like some of the other people that might have been into it, I don't know. I had no idea. But it didn't get very positive reviews that I had seen online.
Yeah.
So
well,
I was gonna skip that one, but
yeah,
I might give it a shot.
That's entirely up to you. So one of the Spider-Man movies that already came out actually addressed Venom, and like I think it already, if I remember correctly, they created Venom in that movie, and then it might have ended up even killing him in that movie. So, but my memory's shady, so I can't remember. But yeah, they definitely took a big leap away from what it was in the comic books, dude. It was like not even close. But I liked it. I thought it was cool, and like I said, I think the possibility's there for multiple movies. And the way the movie ends, I don't ever remember that taking place in any of the comic books. It may have eventually happened, after I stopped reading, because once I got into like Legion baseball at like 14, there was no more time for comic books, so I have no idea. But
sure.
Yeah.
Well, Tom Hardy, he's an awesome actor. I love watching his movies. And
as far as I know, I've never watched a movie with him in it. Like I haven't watched the Batman where he plays Bane. I haven't watched the UFC movie or whatever where he fights.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
I was like, I thought he did a good job, but I was like, he kind of talks. He kind of talks like people from my town, like kind of redneckish. I don't know how to describe it, but I was like, this guy doesn't seem like too special. He's not a Christian Bale by any means.
I think, is he not British?
He may
I thought
be.
he was British because in interviews,
Christian Bale
like the way he talked. Okay. Well, the way he talks is not how he sounds in the movies. Tom Hardy.
Oh, see, I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you. Maybe he is British and he puts an accent on and sounds a little weird, but I just sounded like he was somebody from Towanda that was, talking about fifthing down to the river.
No, I know what you're talking. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. He's got yeah. That's how he comes out in some of his other movies too. So
okay.
I think that's just how he spins it.
Right. Okay.
Interesting.
Gotcha.
Well, I might check that out. I actually saw the movie A Star Is Born last night. I went to see that.
Well, that was number 2 on the list because I like that. What's his name? What's the actor's name?
Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper.
He's awesome. He is.
Yeah.
He is awesome. He did a great job in that too. And I didn't realize the woman was Lady Gaga. My wife had to point that out. So, but she did good. So it was a good movie. I won't spoil it for anybody. I didn't care for the ending, but otherwise it was good. So,
right.
Well,
cool.
Well, interesting movie selections for us then this weekend.
Yeah. Well, that's neat. Well, I'm interested in hearing what other people think about that UFC stuff. They can feel free to comment. There's been tons of comments on the channel recently for for our recent videos, Alan, and I really want to say thank you to everybody for really being so active on our recent videos. A lot of people put in comments for the 3 grip drills or 3 tools that they would use if they only had 3 to choose from for the rest of their life. So top comment.
Those were good.
Yeah, top comment was from Nigel Blackburn, Indianapolis Colts, 914. 1 stub, 2 stub, 3 stub. That was the best one that I saw.
Yeah.
But there was some good insight in there.
Well, most people were on a similar page, at least in concept, with thick bar and things like that. So, there was some similarities there for a lot of them.
Yeah.
So that was good. Yep. So, yeah, not entirely surprised. So, well, we got to revisit that. So now that you knocked one out, what would you throw back in if you knowing now what you know?
Well, you know what? I would keep the Inch Dumbbell, and I would try to go for the next thing on the list, dude, is so I did it left. Now I got to do it right. And I got to not only clean it, but get it over my head. There ain't no way I'm going to press
it too.
I'm never going to strict press 172 pounds. I don't have that in me. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But I could do a push press or some form of a jerk. Absolutely, because I've done that before in my lifetime, lots of times. I just never was able to do it with one hand. I always had to pull it with 2 hands to my shoulder. So I definitely see that as something that I can eventually do. And then a
push press is legit.
What's that?
A push press is legit. That's a strong man. That's a legit means of getting something up over your head.
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
All bets are off at that point. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, dude, I read a comment on Facebook because I also shared the video on Facebook, and I saw a comment from Joe Musselwhite saying that before Terry Todd died, he had told Joe Musselwhite that he saw Mark Henry snatch the Inch Dumbbell.
Oofda.
So,
well, I could believe that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the video camera was not running, so it did not get captured. So I don't know much more about that, but I believe it was a visit to Terry Todd's place where Mark Henry did that. So, I'm going to go ahead and throw that on my lifetime goals list.
That's some horsepower. You really gotta keep some things under control there to pull that one off. So
yeah.
Nice. Well, he's when you hear about a guy like Mark Henry doing something like that, though, you just, I don't know that you need the video on that to believe it.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be awesome to see, but nonetheless, it's there. It's not an unreasonable thing for him to be able to do something like that. So.
Yes. And keep in mind that Mark Henry is also the guy who my friend Eli said he watched Mark Henry put his hand around the circumference of the blob. So I'm not saying a facelift or the normal way you would pinch it, but rather around the sloped edge.
I know what you're talking about.
And lifted it that way.
Oh. Okay. So he doesn't have a small set of mitts on him by any means.
Yeah. Now I
he can probably get a thumb over. He probably just about hook grip the frickin' Inch then, I suppose.
Yeah, possibly.
Burgers.
But I don't know. I was there. It was at one of the Night of Strengths. There was a lot of stuff going on, and we were standing around in a pack, and he goes, "Did you see what Mark Henry did?" I'm like, "No, what happened?" And he said that he lifted it by putting his hand around the curved edge of the blob. So I don't know. That's absolutely
I'm just palming one right now. Yeah, I couldn't. That's just I couldn't get around it enough to get an advantageous position on it.
Right.
You'd really need to be able to go virtually talking nearly 180 degrees on it to get something, or have just some brutal. I can't even fathom that one.
That's crazy. It's really hard to imagine.
Yeah, no, I would love to. That's too bad. That's too bad you don't get footage of some of those things. Not because you don't believe it, just because you would love to see it have actually happened.
Oh yeah.
Hell,
For sure.
Oh, what a shame.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, hey, man,
Cool.
I should probably get going, Alan, because we've had some car trouble here at the house, and
Sure.
we need to get that taken care of, so I'm just about out of time. But I do appreciate everybody liking the videos and commenting, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Going for 10,000 subscribers, so I really appreciate that from everybody taking such initiative and action on all this stuff. Really appreciate that. So, anything else, Alan?
No. Just a final congratulations to you for finally nailing your goal of that inch clean. That was some impressive and motivational stuff. So if that doesn't get people fired up, I don't know what would. So you bet.
Cool.
Well, that's it for episode 72 of This Week in Grip. Hope everybody liked it. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Comment down below, and we'll be back next week with a little bit more. We'll see you then.